Just as the complaints about Donald Trump not staying on message were dominating the headlines, he spoke at a rally where he revisited many of the controversies that engulfed him in the primaries, including his past feud with Megyn Kelly.
Just like Hillary's commercials, they're so false. They're so false. Like she's got the one with blood coming out of her eyes. And I meant her nose, or her ears, or her mouth. But these people are perverted, and they think it was another location. Unbelievable.
Oh, good God.
Joining us now are two Republican insiders, Barry Bennett, former senior advisor to the Trump campaign who had managed Ben Carson's presidential campaign, and Sarah Flores, a former top official in Carly Fiorina's presidential campaign. Barry, after all the media criticism, Trump goes to this rally, he's talking about Megyn Kelly, he's talking about the disabled New York Times reporter Serge Kovaleski and whether he had mocked him. Is it fair for the press to say that this is a candidate who has trouble staying on message?
Well, I mean, we've certainly not seen a lot of discipline in the last 7 or 10 days, right?
When you were advising the campaign, did you suggest that the campaign be more focused as you go out of the rally and talk about A, B, C?
Yeah, I think these rallies are, if it's 30 minutes of top-of-the-head thinking, they're less useful. They should have a message. They should have a focus.
But, Sarah, maybe this whole sort of on-message, talk about one issue a day, old-fashioned approach that is kind of favored by the press. We like disciplined candidates. Maybe it just doesn't reflect Trump's personality, and his personality is what got him to where he is now.
Not only that, I don't think it is favored by the press. If you remember back to 2012, they would complain that both candidates were so on message. There was nothing to report about, particularly behind the scenes to aides. Like, why can't they say something new? I've memorized the stump speech. And that's when you'd get them covering, my bags didn't come off the bus in time, and Twitter turned into just a snark fest for reporters. So on the one hand, reporters love this. And on the other hand, they love reporting how bad it is.
I think you've nailed it. So does it matter right now how most of the media are pounding Trump, as we have shown, and even calling his sanity into question, or do a lot of people dismiss that because they don't love the press either?
You know, if you talk to the embeds that are traveling with the campaign, both campaigns, they get nothing but abuse by the people at these events, right? They all think that they're horribly biased and they don't listen to them. And I think that's unfortunately happening across America.
But some of this is also, as I mentioned earlier, coming from the right. You have big-name commentators. I mean, you got the National Review and Weekly Standard, which were totally opposed to Donald Trump during the primaries, as you recall. And then you've got Charles Krauthammer, George Will, David Brooks, Bill Kristol. Does that criticism hurt a Republican candidate, and does it undercut the notion that this is all liberal media bias?
Yes and no. I know. There's obviously people within Trump's base where if Ross Douthat and David Brooks don't like Donald Trump, they like him more.
Because they don't feel that such columnists, who happen to both work for the Times, are true conservatives in the way that they think they're sort of elitists, intellectuals.
They're right. This intellectual thing that has caused the globalization, all the stuff that Trump complains about. On the other hand, there's absolutely a percentage of the Republican Party that does read them, that does listen to what George Will has to say, and is like, well, if they think he's unhinged, maybe they know something, you know, a lot more. That being said, you look back in that rally where he's talking about Megyn Kelly, and there's a guy back there going like, yeah! Like, that's Trump's base. So it's clearly not affecting him as much as the mainstream media might like it to.
Well, he's always run against the press, but he also needs to expand his base in a general election beyond those. I mean, everybody hates the media, but beyond those who really despise the media.
You know, I disagree with you a little bit. I think this election is all about turning out the vote, right? I mean, we've got two of the world's most unpopular people, most well-known people running against each other. No amount of advertising, I think, is going to change much, nor is much coverage. These people it's baked in. It's turning out your vote. Now, you know, Trump, I think, if you look at these rallies, I mean, the amazing thing to me as a tactician is that they email that this rally is going to happen in 2 days out, and they get 20,000 people to come, while Hillary is getting 50 people in Cleveland.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. But so if Trump is in a fight with John McCain or Paul Ryan, both of whom he reluctantly endorsed on Friday after saying he wasn't quite there yet, do the base voters care about that?
Oh, they're with him, actually. I mean, Washington has a 7% approval rating for a reason, right? Congressman insert name here stinks, and they're going to get an applause line.
Right. When you worked for Carly, there came a point after she sort of surged and had that great debate when she went down in the polls and everyone said she can't win, she's running for VP, she can't win. How hard is it to change a media narrative, and how hard, therefore, is it for Donald Trump to change the rap that the press has on him right now?
It's hard to change the media narrative by just going to the media to try to change it. On the other hand, and I'm not the first person to say this, his polls will go back up. This isn't going to be just a slow and steady slide down. They're going to go back up, and there's anything the media loves, it's a comeback story.
So if the polls blip back up, because races always tighten, people will say, aha, he's turned the corner,
and
he's
we're not
back.
even past Labor Day. We're sort of still in the prelims, to borrow the Olympic term. We're not even to the main stage yet.
I mean, we've been in this cycle for almost 2 years.
The press is so fickle. I think you make an excellent point. Sarah Flores, Barry Bennett, excuse me, thank you very much. Great to see you here.